Doesn't matter.
Richmond. We haven't seen you in a couple of days. Can you kind of update us on the injury status?
Yeah, there's no new injuries to speak of. Crowder will probably hold out another day with his hamstring. Other than that, the practice was pretty limited because of the fight, so nobody else got hurt. Matt Jones is going to be limited. He'll probably just do individual. He retweaked his knee a little bit. But other than that, I think it's the same.
I may be looking too far down the road, but preseason game Thursday, do you have a plan in place for the starters or kind of what you want them to do work-wise?
Well, we're going to go today. We're in shoulder pads today. We'll finish practice today and then make our final decisions as far as who's playing how much. It'll be injury-related, I'm sure. But for the most part, we'll make that decision closer to game day.
How do you feel you're 3 days away from that preseason opener? I know you're never satisfied, but are you seeing what you were hoping for at this point, or do you feel like we still got a lot of stuff before I feel comfortable going into a first game?
Yeah, we do have a lot of stuff, especially with the secondary, with all the injuries that have taken place. You want them to gel back there, but with all the injuries, the Duran and Breland and Amerson and D. Hall, it's been hard for them to get all the reps together. That's the one concern that I have. Overall, though, I feel good about where we're progressing. The quarterbacks, the offensive line, the running game, all that I feel good offensively. And then defensively, just a matter of getting a starting group together, which is going to be important.
Coach, you mentioned the fight. Have you spoken to the team any more about that? Is there any disciplinary action you plan or have taken?
No, there's no disciplinary action. Other than the ones who didn't stick up for me when I was getting beat up. But no, it was just training camp, and both teams were a little hot-headed, and things happen.
Jay, I know the depth chart, it says unofficial, but on Niles Paul being moved to the starting job, does that reflect the work he's done in the offseason, his performance last year, or skepticism about Jordan Reed's durability, or part of both?
I think Niles Paul is probably a little bit more of a complete when you're talking about blocking also. And you're talking about your base offense where you go fullback, one running back, and one tight end where, the running game and pass blocking is very important for that guy. But Niles has emerged as a starter. Jordan will play a lot in our, 3 receiver sets, 1 tight end set, obviously. He's probably the starter in that particular group. And then when we go 2 tight ends, obviously it'll be Niles and Jordan. So we change personnel so often, I think they'll both get a lot of playing time. But if you just go 1 tight end, 1 fullback, 1 running back, it'll be Niles to start.
With Niles, where have you seen a change in his game even from last year at this time and throughout the year?
Well, he's one of our strongest players. He's self-made, and he works very hard in the weight room. He's very explosive. You can just see since I got here, even obviously converting from a receiver to a tight end to put on the bulk mass that he has in the upper body strength, lower body strength has been very impressive. Biggest change. He's always been able to be a receiver. He's got good speed, but to improve himself with his body so he can stand in there and block is the biggest improvement.
He made a big deal. He put on that weight this offseason. How have you seen a change, and have you seen a take away from – and he feels like it's made him more explosive because he's stronger down low. Have you seen any difference there?
I have not seen any except for the positives. I think he does look more explosive. He hasn't lost any speed that I can tell, and like I said, he's a very complete player right now, and hats off to him for putting the work in.
Coach, back here, many of the players are looking forward to getting into a game situation at Cleveland. How about you? Are you ready to get into a game situation and see how the Cats do?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited, especially to see some of these young guys. I want to see our veteran guys progress, however much they play, if it's a quarter, if it's a half, I don't know yet. But I want to see how they're progressing in year 2 of our system. And then obviously the young guys, I want to see how they step up when the lights are on. You got the Cleveland Browns players fighting for jobs. We're fighting for jobs, and we'll see how we compete and how we fare against another team. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah. Kai Forbath, just from our observation and actually from talking to him this morning, problems with consistency, missing some field goals he should make. Is that becoming a concern on your end at all at this point?
A little bit, because the strength of Kai's game is his accuracy. And, that's surprising right now. But we just got to get his confidence up. We'll have him kick some today, and hopefully he knocks them all through. But Kai's been a very accurate kicker for this organization for a long time, and it's a little puzzling right now that he's missed some kicks that he normally makes. So we just got to figure out what it is, his timing, his confidence, whatever it might be. We got to get it back for him.
To an extent, you've said that he's, not ever really a good practice guy. You looking
Yeah.
forward to see him in a game and see
Yeah.
if that ups his performance.
I think that'll help. Once he knocks a couple through in a game type situation, I think that'll help his confidence. But out here he's struggled a little bit. For a starting kicker in the NFL. So it's important for him to get in some kind of rhythm where he gets that confidence back.
Anything else? Jay. Getting back to the depth chart, how accurate is the one that's distributed to the media? And number two, as far as Cousins being listed ahead of McCoy, is that basically the way you've seen things go here in the first 10 to 12 days?
Well, if I had my druthers, there wouldn't be a depth chart until Miami. It's silly to me. It's like I said, it could change next week. It could change tomorrow for all I know. But, these guys are out here competing, and there's nothing etched in stone. First string, second string, third string, whatever it might be. So it's important for these guys to continue to compete. Let them know we got our eyes on them. And if they perform better than the guy in front of them, then they'll play. But being a starter, you got to deserve that right. You got to earn that right, and you got to keep that right. So, we just put that out there for y'all. But for us, we're letting our guys go out there and compete every day, and we can make changes as necessary.
Coach, back here, second year you guys are going to play Cleveland. I know it's somewhat of a new team, but having the experience against them last year, going into this year, opening in the preseason, what advantages does that have for you guys as you get ready for that game?
Not really any. It was so long ago, I don't even remember the game, to be honest with you. It's the big thing about the preseason games, we're just trying to let our guys go out there and play and see who stands up to the competition, who shows up. So that's the most important thing, getting out of it. Like I said, we're trying to build our foundation. We're trying to make sure we go out there and play the right way with great effort and great energy. And in the meantime, we're trying to take a look at our best players. And I'm not really interested in the scheme of the Cleveland Browns, and we're not trying to trick them or any of that stuff right now. We're just trying to line up, put the ball in play, and see who shows up.
Also, Johnny Manziel last year had a bit of a falling out during that game with the Redskins, looked irritated, but he's coming back this year. What do you expect to see from him, and what do you have to say about his off-the-field stuff and coming back and trying to make his comeback?
Well, Johnny, I think in year two, he's a more mature player. That's what happens. You have a rookie, and then your second year is very, very important. The second year is very important for our guys: Trent Murphy, Morgan Moses, Spencer Long, Bashar Breeland. These guys, it's very important to see. They go into an organization, see what the NFL is all about, and then year two they kind of settle in. And I expect Johnny to perform a lot better. And he's a heck of a talented quarterback, and I'm sure he's going to push their starter for reps. But everything that I've seen, everything I know, he's a pretty good quarterback.
Coach, back here. Thanks. You said you don't know yet how much guys will play on Thursday, and I assume that includes Robert, right? That you haven't made up your mind about how long he's going to play. Robert.
No, not yet. We'll see. I would think at least a quarter right now, just off the top of my head, but we'll see. It could be longer, depending on how. It just depends on how many plays you get. We probably have a pitch count on them and go from there.
Is there anything you'll be looking for then that you didn't see against the Texans in the joint practices or vice
From
versa?
Robert?
Yes.
No, we just want to continue to see him improve. Really the big thing is tempo, in and out of the huddle, getting the plays called, and then making good decisions and accurate decisions, and then just delivering the ball on time and accurately. So we'll see. I don't expect him to go perfect, 20 for 20 for 5 touchdowns or any of that matter, but I do expect him to have more confidence in the system, get us in the right play when we ask him to do so, and make good, sound decisions. And then it's up to the rest of the guys to do the work around him.
Do you get to vet the Hard Knocks episode tomorrow morning? Is that part of your duties, or is that just on the Houston side?
Do I get to look at it?
Yeah.
No.
Coach, I know you weren't happy with Saturday's scuffle. Can you take any silver lining away from that, though, players coming to the defense of one another?
Yeah, I think so. I think it brought us together a little bit, actually. I think, when you watch the tape and who was right, who was wrong, but when you see Redskins players helping Redskins, that's a good thing. Obviously, on game day, you make a big deal about you can't come off the bench and you can't enter fights on game day. It's 15-yard penalties and possible suspension, so we made a big deal about that. But in that setting, there was no choice but for people to go protect one another. And it was good to see that, and I think it brought everybody closer together.
Coach, Jason Hatcher and Chris Thompson have become sort of devotees of hot yoga. Jason said that he's gotten some assistant coaches involved in it. Didn't think you'd gotten the head coach in it yet. Are you going to be a hot yoga guy?
I'm a regular yoga. I've tried yoga a few times. I do like yoga, and there's some merit to it, and I'm glad Jason's doing it. I know a couple of our coaches do it, and they enjoy it. And we actually made it available for our players if they wanted to do it. So it's a great chance for them to relax and get some good stretching.
Naseki at tackle, kind of an unknown guy coming in. I mean, a couple years ago he was in the AFL catching passes. How's he done for you in camp? Seems like he's had a pretty strong camp.
Who's that?
Naseki, tackle.
Oh, Ty?
Ty, yeah.
How do you pronounce his last name?
Naseki, I think. Doesn't look like
Ty, yeah. You know, Ty's a giant, man. He's an enormous guy. And, you know, he's the big thing with him is he's obviously got the physical tools. Now it's about learning the system and eliminating some of the mentals. But, you know, he's an athletic guy. He's a guy that's really we got to take a look at in the preseason games. He's one of those guys that can really take a step towards being here as far as making the roster if he performs well in the games.
Coach, you obviously have another month before you have to actually have the defense on the field, you know, when it counts. But how do you feel about kind of the new system and the aggressive way you're going to play and the talent you have to fill those spots?
I like it. I think the defense has shown they can be multiple. They don't have to be aggressive every snap. They can play their loaded zones, and they can be aggressive when need be. But so far, I think they're coming along. And like I said before, the biggest concern I have is the secondary not playing together. You know, that's the big thing. So that's important for us to get our starters in there and get them playing together, get them healthy, number one, but to get them playing together. But overall, I like the progress that our defense has made. I like the depth on our defensive line. I think when Junior gets in here, 100% he's going to help to our pass rush. So overall, I think we got the makings of a good defense. Now it's about coming together, eliminating mental mistakes, and then consistently having great pursuit angles and great tackling, fundamental tackling.
Preston Smith in his development, what do you want to see more of from him?
Well, obviously he's a rookie, and he's coming along. You know, the injury a couple days ago lost a chance for him to compete against Texans on Saturday and Friday, but he's coming along. You know, really, there's a lot to learn for a guy, especially moving him to outside linebacker. You know, at Mississippi State, he played defensive end and he played nose guard. He moved around a lot, but playing base 3-4 outside linebacker in base situations is a little bit different. When we go to nickel and he's a defensive end, he's more comfortable. But I like his progress. We just got to keep him healthy.
Coach back here, a lot of teams that go undefeated 4-0 in the preseason, there are expectations that they'll go further into the playoffs and just experience a lot of success. Knowing that, are you putting a lot of weight into the preseason?
Well, the weight we're putting into it is we want to set our standards and how we're going to play, how hard we play, the effort that we play with, obviously. And then obviously you want to try to take a look at your best players. The outcomes of the games, you know, you always want to win whenever you step onto the field, but really the big thing is coming out of there healthy and then finding your best 53 guys, however you do that. 4-0, 0-4, 2-2, they don't count. They are important as far as your confidence is concerned, possibly. It'd be nice for us to get some wins in there, but ultimately it's about finding our best 54 guys, 53 guys.
Seen from Justin Rogers and trying to take advantage of the opportunity to get some more reps given the injuries.
That's exactly what he's doing. You know, the injuries took place, and Justin was kind of, you know, he's second, third team, and then all of a sudden we had some injuries. Now he's in there with the first team, and he has taken advantage of the reps, both at nickel and at corner. So very, very important for him to get all this work, and I like what he's doing at nickel. I really do, and he's also doing very good for Ben on special teams. So he has definitely made his presence felt, and he's doing a good job.
Just a follow-up to the yoga questions. Do you have a particular favorite pose?
That I do, or yeah, I like the downward dog.